Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be having a look at just a few items that you might want to get if you've got an Agatha Christie fan in your family, or if you may have a friend or someone you know who absolutely loves Agatha Christie and you're thinking of buying them a present for this festive season. So I've got a few books that I pulled out, a couple of Agatha Christie's that are set at Christmas time, and then a couple of other sort of non-fiction books which I think any Christie fan would really enjoy. So that will be the subject of today's video. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So the first one we've got, in actual fact, is called Hercule Poirot's Christmas, but I was very, very lucky a few years back to pick up a copy of the original Avon American paperback. Now, when this was published over in the States, Avon published it in paperback, and they changed the title from Hercule Poirot's Christmas to A Holiday for Murder. It came out in this sort of sensationalist USA paperback. Really, really nice. It's got a bit of laminated gloss coming off here, but I actually picked this one up in the bookshop at Chartwell, which was Sir Winston Churchill's home, National Trust property. And like a lot of National Trust properties, they have a little bookshop where people can bring in donations and sell them to help keep the place open. And it was in there, so I paid like £1 for it, which was really good and really nice edition. You don't see many American books of this period in the UK, so I was really pleased for that. But far, far more common, this is the British Fontana edition of Hercule Poirot's Christmas. And I'll just give you a little summary of the plot while you're looking at that. So it is Christmas Eve. The Lee family reunion is shattered by a deafening crash of furniture, followed by a high-pitched wailing scream. Upstairs, the tyrannical Simeon Lee lies dead in a pool of blood, his throat slashed. But when Hercule Poirot, who is staying in the village with a friend for Christmas, offers to assist, he finds an atmosphere not of mourning, but of mutual suspicion. It seems everyone had their own reason to hate the old man. So there's that Fontana edition, and I have actually got one other, which is a very late-ish, for me, late 60s Pan Books edition from the UK. And this is, by this time, they got rid of those great cover painted artworks and have gone for the photographic version here. So there they are. And so if you wanted to find a copy of Hercule Poirot's Christmas and give to someone as a present for Christmas, what a great choice that would be. Obviously, these are the vintage editions. There is an absolutely beautiful facsimile of the first hardback edition from December 1938, which was published by, it was actually like a book club edition published in 2006, which was part of a part work that was published in the UK where they reprinted all of them, and they are particularly nice as well. And of course, there are also like audio adaptions, as well as the more recent paperbacks. So I will put a link below to get some of these older editions on eBay or the most modern editions on Amazon in the description down below. Now, there was one other Christie book that's set at Christmas, which sadly I was surprised I only had the one edition of this, and that's The Adventures of the Christmas Pudding. Now, this book came out a lot later. It was published in 1960 in hardback by Collins Crime Club. They were first published in 1960. This is the first Fontana edition. So this is the first UK paperback edition from 1963. Neither of these books actually had a Penguin edition, which was a bit of a shame, but they definitely didn't have. So the story behind The Adventures of the Christmas Pudding is: first came a sinister warning to Poirot not to eat any plum pudding. Then the discovery of a corpse in a chest. Next, an overheard quarrel that led to murder. The strange case of the dead man who altered his eating habits. And the puzzle of the victim who dreamt his own suicide. What links these 5 baffling cases? The little grey cells of Monsieur Hercule Poirot. So there we are. So I believe this is like 5 short stories which have an overriding theme and then they link together. So that's what this one's about. And once again, if you can't find this original Fontana edition, because it can be a little bit tricky, although there is a later one from 1972 with a Tom Adams cover, which sadly I don't have, but we can have a look at that in a minute. You can, of course, get the more up-to-date editions for your reading pleasure. And once again, there's a lovely facsimile which I think is well worth tracking down. So apart from those original like paperbacks, which you might admittedly have a little bit of an issue finding because they don't turn up that often, I have got a couple of nice non-fiction books which may be of interest to you. So this one here, first of all, is called Cover Me, and this is a look at the vintage cover art, specifically of vintage Pan books. This is literally just been published like a couple of weeks ago. It's from the archive of Colin Larkin, and Colin had several pieces of original Agatha Christie cover artwork, and he still has some in his collection today, and they are showcased in this rather nice look at the history of Pan cover artwork. Now, there is Agatha Christie in here, and of course she was an integral part of the British Pan books story. So if you're at all interested in Christie and Pan books in general, you'll absolutely love this book because it's great. It's really, really great, and certainly I read it cover to cover in one sitting. It was fantastic. So there's some good stuff in there for you to have a look at. So I just wanted to make you aware of this because it's literally just been published. Now, the last book we're going to look at, which you're probably, if you are a Christie fan, you may well be aware of it, but maybe you've not got yourself around to getting a copy yet. And it's the Tom Adams Uncovered. This is the art of Agatha Christie and beyond. So Tom Adams, for Fontana, started doing Agatha Christie jackets in the late 1960s, and he did them up into the mid 80s. And those jackets are sort of the macabre Gothic style, and they are absolutely fantastic. So if we just have a little flick through some of these, now this is a really sumptuous hardback. That's just brilliant stuff here. This is a cover to Lord Edgware Dies. You get the idea. As I said, they're quite Gothic in their outlook, but a lot of these were the ones I remember reading when I was growing up. My mum had these editions, these and the Pan ones, a few odd penguins, and this book is just a delight. And it's just the sort of thing, if I'd been given a copy of this at Christmas, I'd absolutely be over the moon because it's so good. It literally is everything. It's not just his Agatha Christie, but it's predominantly the Agatha Christie's. So you will find some other bits and pieces within here as well that he did for a few other authors. But predominantly, I'm sure you'll recognise that edition there of Death in the Clouds with the giant wasp. Fantastic stuff. Almost iconic, you could say. There's some of his other earlier pieces. If I just go a bit further back into the book here, as you can see, superb. He did do the jacket for the US Agatha Christie biography. And I really like his work because it's so detailed. And you tie that with the Agatha Christie's, and they had a real recipe for winners, didn't they? That is actually the cover for, that's the Enid Blyton one, but he did do an Agatha Christie as well. A few magazine covers and what have you. Miss Marple's Final Cases, that one. So as you can see, this is a really sumptuous sort of hardback and mirror cracked. If you're an Agatha Christie fan, this would make a great present. So there's a couple of little hardbacks that you may not have been aware of, which I can wholeheartedly recommend. So Tom Adams Uncovered and Cover Me. Once again, I'll put links to Amazon so you can buy these in the description down below. So there you go. I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea, or possibly a few gift ideas for the Agatha Christie fan that you might know this Christmas. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback coverage. And I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.